Did you know that do you know who Nick Vile?
Of course, yes.
Okay, so did you know that his partner cheated on him?
Well, it's not confirmed, but yes. She's also like friggin' 18. He was 18 when she was born. He's 18 years older than her. I think they got engaged when she was 19. You know he was The Bachelor?
Yeah. That's how he became famous, right? Yeah.
How do we feel about that?
You know what I don't understand? Like, I know we don't want to talk about reality TV, but it's like he has this whole podcast and his whole platform now consists of him finding his person, and he knows what's right and wrong when you're trying to look for the right partner and stuff like that.
And he judges people so hard. Like if they do something.
But that's why he became famous, right?
Yes. Yeah. No, but I mean like on this podcast, like when people come in, like, you know, the whole thing I was talking about, the Scandival scandal, whatever, the way he talks to them, he asks the hard hitting questions, right? But the way you can see clearly, like he has no problem with being like, I don't like you, all this stuff. Like how can you do that when your own relationship is so flawed? And I think that's what people have a problem with.
Yeah, because that's like, I don't know, that's just like some next level. You don't even
totally.
Yeah, I don't know how you would trust. And that's why, like, I think the world we live in now, like, honestly, even when it comes to like Reddit, or you're looking for advice, or you're looking for whatever, we have so much access to so much now that, like, if you just go online, you'll find advice. Is that really advice that like you should trust, or is it just you got to go with your gut? But then what's your gut? Because you're still listening to other people. 100%. So is it really your gut, or is it someone else's gut?
Which is true. Because
whose gut is it?
Yeah. Whose gut is it is what we should ask.
Yeah.
That should be the title of this episode.
Is this my gut or your gut? Whose gut?
No, but have you watched the social experiment? No. The
antisocial?
No, I think it's called, it was like a while ago. It was so popular. It was a documentary about like basically all these people who work for these big social media networks like Snapchat, Instagram, Google.
Oh, Social Dilemma, I think.
Something like that. Yeah. And even them, they're like knowing what goes behind the scenes. Like our kids are not allowed to have phones. They're not allowed to have like access to these platforms because we understand the damage and how like unnatural everybody's thoughts are. Because at the end of the day, like everything is fed to you. Like something that you thought, like tomorrow, if I'm like, I want to try the Fenty Beauty gloss, it's not because I had an original idea, then I saw it. It's literally because for the past 2 weeks, it's been slowly like through product placement, like shown to me the Fenty gloss, and that's why I want it now. Like none of our thoughts are original at all. Even emotions, like people think about like, what is that? Like, what am I like? I'm going to do something. How's it going to affect other people? And that's why I'll choose. Like, it's not because what I want to do. It's because of how I'm going to be like perceived. Yeah. It's so crazy.
And we did that before with society.
Yeah.
Now it's like not just the people we surround ourselves with. Now it's people outside of that too, because now your life is on social media.
100%. Like one of my friends, she went on vacation and literally had like the worst experience. She was so sick. She was so like just down and out, but she just posted the picture. Well, what else is she gonna do? She just posted the pictures of like the first 2 days where she was like having the time of her life. And it's like nobody on the outside knows like how down and out she was. She was like struggling and all those things. We don't feel the need to share that. I'm not saying that's bad. Like I would have done the exact same thing. Like I'm going to show I went on vacation and I had the perfect time instead of versus showing like, oh my God, it was the worst. But like why? Like why are we not doing that? Because at the end of the day, that's what causes these like big stigma shit, like where people feel like they need to compare people to each other, like, you know, that kind of stuff. Like, why am I not posting, like, I don't know. I'm trying to think what went wrong. I'm trying to think, like, I don't know, like, if people's, like, friggin' they missed their flight, like, the only time you'd post that is, like, the influencers are posting it, but, like, regular people who, like, their flight was canceled, they said they're not gonna put it on social media.
But I have a question. Do we need to? Like, there are some things, like, I think social media now has become too much about, like, what other people think. But if you think about it, even the photo albums that we see now with our, like, the parents, they've had these, like, albums and stuff. They've never, captured the bad moments, because it was never there. It was mainly, you have this for memories and you want to look back on good memories. So when I think about regular people who, like, their life is not affected by like influencers stuff that you have to do for your work and stuff like that, for regular people, I would think that your social media is just your, like, you want to look back on it to
It's
be
like a
like,
memory
that was a
thing.
good time, or like this happened there and that happened there, and that's not, like, nobody else needs to know more than that.
I agree, but I also think like the people who post like every minute of the day about everything they do all the time. Like I'm talking about those people. There are people who are just like who barely post like once a month. People who like you're just more of a viewer on social media than you are like a poster.
Stalker, we can call it that.
Fair.
That's okay. Yeah.
But that's what I mean, because those people are not like on there as much other than like a viewing thing, right? And I feel like the people who are taking the I want to be an influencer route, like if you're gonna keep posting the beautiful things in life, like I feel like you should feel a little bit of I should also share the salty stuff, because at the end of the day, like that's what people are comparing themselves to, right? And that's not healthy. Like if you're going to keep thinking like why are we not talking about how expensive things are, and sometimes they go overboard, and like weddings, like why aren't more people talking about how expensive weddings are and how some people like go into debt because of how expensive weddings are? Like things like that should be talked about, where because I think a lot of people feel alone and they feel like they compare to this, like as they always say, this highlight reel that's not real life, and that like sets really bad standards and expectations. I don't know, but you're right. Like who am I to say that that's their responsibility? That's not their job. They're gonna do whatever makes them happy, and if that makes them happy, that makes them happy. I don't know, I just think that we put so much power on social media that we need to take we got to take responsibility for it too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Wild.
Also, you need to have real conversations with
Exactly.
your people.
I
As long
agree.
as you have your people and you have those real conversations where life is lifing, and you have those people to talk to. Like even recently someone was telling me like, they went through the whole process of getting a house and stuff like that. And they were just saying that they had a conversation with another couple who were thinking of buying a house. And that when they talked about the reality of how expensive it is and all the paperwork you have to do and all the details and all that stuff that people don't really talk about, because it's just not something people talk about that much. But when they sat down and talked about the nitty gritty of everything, shit got so real that they just got so scared, right? Because nobody talks about that. But what they do see is that people are in these big houses, or that they're in a condo that's like this high rise and it's so beautiful and everything is great. But the back side of that is that if you don't have enough savings, if you don't have this, if you don't have a plan as to how things are going to work out, then it's just going to be hard. But that's why I think having your people to talk to that stuff about is more important than social media side of looking at someone's life and being like, wow, they have a perfect house or they have a perfect life or kids or whatever it is. It's much more important to have those real conversations with your people, as long as you have those people. Obviously some people you haven't found your people or whatever it is, but if you have those people, have those real conversations, because life is
Lifing.
Yeah.
No, truly.
Yeah.
And having a home is one of those big things, I think, especially with like our age group and our generation, and how hard it is to have like a home and like get there. I think people forget is once you get there, yeah, it is all beautiful. It is so beautiful, but you might have to sacrifice certain things. And I think
lots of things.
Yes.
Like sometimes you won't be able to go out as much, and then
Yeah.
people are like, why aren't you coming out with us?
Yeah.
And you're like, I need to save for a house, so let me sit at home.
Yeah. And like mortgage rates, everything, it doesn't end at just buying this house. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It is crazy as you grow up, these adult conversations that we're having. And I think money is a big thing where people are very scared of having those conversations. And also the other thing, it's like the real life thing that happens like up until excuse me, up until you buy a house, like you have a very specific lifestyle, right? And I think that's something that a lot of people, it's hard for people to wrap their head around. Like you go on vacation every year, you have all these things, right? But sometimes like those things are going to have to be put on the back burner, like after you have this house and you have different responsibilities, you have like, and forget about that. Like you're fucking moving in with a boy for the first time in your life. Crazy, bruh. Crazy.
Crazy. Wow.
Yeah. So many things.
Yeah.
Anyways,
if you
that
have
was
those people in your life,
go talk to them.
go talk to them. Because don't look at this social media shit out here.
They're not real.
That's some bullshit.